Today we're going to be discussing military surplus firearms as an investment, both for putting food on the table and monetary investment. This is a Swedish M96 Mauser. These are generally viewed as the highest quality military Mauser that you can possibly find. To have one made today, you would probably spend around $3,000 to $4,000 just to have one of these made. They're that high of quality. All the parts just fit together. The action is extremely smooth. They're extremely accurate. There's no round in the chamber there. The trigger on these, again, extremely nice. This one, as you can see, has a bunch of fiddle back in the wood, all along the wood here. And they're just really beautiful firearms. Back in 2006, you could get one of these for about $200, maybe a little less. Today, you could get one for about $350 to $450. I would personally not spend more than that. You're just giving money away by doing that. Unless it's a rare model, such as a sniper, or it has a diopter sight, or any number of rarities. But just for your basic rifle like this, you're looking about $450. And it's a great investment piece because they do go up. Like I said, they've more than doubled in value in just a decade, less than a decade. So if this is, you just want a nice quality firearm, you know, you go out and purchase a Remington 700 for $500, you have a $500 gun. You go out and purchase this gun for $400, you have a $4,000 gun, if it were made today. They're just beautiful firearms, definitely one of my favorites. But we'll go ahead and move on. Now that I've talked about the Swedish Mauser, I'm definitely going to have to move on to the Swiss K31. If you were to get just one military surplus firearm, I would definitely advise you to go with the Swiss K31. Just like Swiss watches, the quality is top-notch on these. Next to the Swedish Mauser, this is probably the highest quality firearm you could get, period. This one, like most, is full of history. Hopefully the camera can pick up all the Shoots and Fest stickers that are on there. Shoots and Fest are basically where a bunch of people from a club or a city get together and competitively shoot. At the end of the day, they go to a beer hall and just get drunk with a bunch of beautiful women. So maybe consider retiring to Switzerland while you're at it. This one came from Erstfeld, Switzerland. So you can see the Erstfeld Hunting Group sticker there. It's got Shoots and Fest sticker and helicopter rescue sticker as well. These are full of history because often you'll find stickers like this or charms or any number of things put on the rifle. I got one that had a gold leaf nailed into the buttstock. The other reason is under the butt plate you'll find what is called a troop tag on most of these, and it will have the original soldier's name and address in most cases. And in this case, I was able to mail off some letters, got a reply from the gentleman's son, and he told me the gentleman that had this rifle, this one was made in 1945, received this when he entered military service, which is if you are a male and you reach 18 years old, it's mandatory to enter military service in Switzerland. He received this firearm, and then when he left the service, he was able to keep it or buy it. And that's the case with most any Swiss firearm like this. Of course, heavy machine guns and things like that are probably not included in that. But anyhow, the son told me that he absolutely loved hunting. Shooting was in his blood. As you can see, he went to a bunch of different competitions. Here's a July 1988, 1988 June, another 1989 July, Erstfeld 1990, 91, 92, and so on. But this one actually has no rifling left in it because he shot it so much. And his son told me that he went to many competitions, won a few with this one, did a bunch of ram hunting in the mountains with it, and then when the rifle did no longer have acceptable accuracy, he turned it in, traded it in for something newer. But these are fantastic because you do get that Swiss quality, just like with the Swedish Mauser. If you were to have one made today, you would probably be spending close to $3,000 to $4,000. I believe the Swiss did spend close to $1,500 to $2,000 per rifle when they were building these. So you can get one today for about $400, somewhere around there. This has got a beechwood stock. You can find some with laminate stock. Excuse me, not laminate, walnut stock, which is a bit darker. And some people prefer that more. They do tend to bring a little bit more of a premium than the beechwood. I chose this one just because I like the stickers on it. The accuracy from these, which are straight pulls, is legendary. You probably will not find a more accurate military surplus firearm out there, period. Bolt action, semi-automatic, and I would place this up against just about any firearm made today as far as accuracy goes. They're just that good. It's typical Swiss construction. Again, checking the chamber. I mean, that slid in there like butter. I don't know if you could see that on the video or not. Trigger, super smooth, super crisp. Back in 2006, sooner than that, you could get one for about $200. Again, you can get one for about $450 today, $400 to $450. This is something that is absolutely going to explode in value once they stop importing them, which will not be much longer because they are running out in Switzerland. So if you're looking for that one gun that is going to suit all the needs, quality, hunting, enjoyability at the range, and just value, this would be the firearm to get. The next firearm I will talk about is the Japanese Arisaka, specifically A-Type 99. Japanese Arisakas do not get the love and admiration I feel they deserve. They have all the bring back history, because you have to remember 90% of these that are here are brought back by U.S. soldiers or contractors or any number of things. I guess back then they would be considered CBs, which are now technically part of the military as well. But most all of them that you find are bringbacks. And if you were to buy an all-matching German K98 bringback, you're going to spend around $2,000. If you were to buy an all-matching Japanese Arisaka, you're going to spend about $250. And you're getting all the history from the Pacific, which was living hell. And I just feel they have not received the admiration they deserve. This one's really neat because it has shrapnel, not shrapnel, but bullet damage. A 30-06 round obviously hit here, and then again down here, exited the other side. This one has the mum. This is a Nagoya-made T99. The ammunition for these is pretty expensive. That's about $1 to $1.50. Most of what you'll find will be soft point hunting ammunition, so if you wanted to take it hunting, you could. The actions on these are known to be the strongest action of any bolt action gun during World War II. Probably any gun during World War II as far as action goes. But as I said, you can get an all-matching piece of World War II Pacific history for about $200, $300. Now there are, like with anything else, there are rare variants. There's snipers, there's some that have the monopod, dust cover, anti-aircraft sights, the whole 9 yards, and those will bring a bit of a premium, just like ones with the mums will. And if you're wondering what I keep referring to as the mum, that is the mum there, if you can see it. I hear mosquitoes everywhere out here, so if you hear me popping stuff, it's me slapping the mosquitoes away. That's the chrysanthemum. That is the mark of the emperor, and on many of the rifles you'll find it removed because either the Japanese or Americans or both did not want that marking on the rifles once they were turned over, surrendered, or picked up on the battlefield by American soldiers. Next up, probably should start moving this stuff. I'm going to move this one up here. This is the Masa Nagant rifle. This is a Finnish M39 to be exact. This is a 1941 dated VKT, or Valmet as they're called today. This one also has combat scars. Has some shrapnel stuck in there and some at the wrist underneath. Masa Nagants are probably the most common military surplus firearm available to us right now. The M39 is a fantastic choice because it has a beefier stock and it's got a heavier barrel, and they're just made a lot better than your average Russian 9130 or variants of. They tend to provide a bit better accuracy. They are a little more expensive. You'll spend about $250, $200 on a 9130. On an M39 like this, you'll spend about $400 or more. Seems to be the average. It's got that typical Mosin action. Don't expect it to be a Swedish Mauser or anything, but it works. The Russians are fantastic at making the things that are simple, and they last forever, and they work. And the finish just improved on that with this design. Once again, it's not loaded. The trigger pull, the action, all that will, unlike with the Swiss K31 or the Swedish Mauser, is going to vary quite a bit with the Masa Nagant rifle. But again, you can pick one of these up. The market was recently flooded with them, the Finnish M39s. Definitely something you should look into grabbing. You pick one up for about $400. Once the supply is gone and once it's settled down a bit, they will continue to go up in value. 7.62x54R is still pretty cheap. I think it's about 25 cents a round or 30 cents a round right now. It's still fairly cheap compared with, you know, surplus 8mm or pretty much any of the other options we've looked at so far. And they're extremely popular. And don't discount the other Masa Nagant variants. You have the M91, 9130, which is probably the most common variant you'll find. The M44, which has a folding bayonet on it. It's a carbine. You've got M38 carbine, and you probably have 20 or so other variants to look at. With these, I find a lot of people say, well, there's millions of them made, they'll never be worth anything. Go ahead and drill the receiver, paint it pink, put a Burris scope on there, go take it hunting, chop down the stock while you're at it. And the problem with that is these same people, their grandparents said, oh, well, you know what, it's a German Mauser, there's millions of them, it's just Nazi crap, they're not worth anything at all, it's just a $20 gun, it'll never be worth anything. This is a German K98 rifle. It is all completely matching, it is unsanded, bluing's 99%. This rifle would have been $20 in the 50s probably. In 2006 it probably would have been a $1,000 gun. It is 2016 and this gun would sell for $2,000 in a heartbeat on my website. And just like with the Masa Nagant we have below, you get people that say, oh, well, there's millions of them imported, they'll never be worth anything. Well, the whole reason you want to purchase, not to get too far off track, but the whole reason you want to purchase a surplus firearm is because there's not an infinite number of them. Unlike silver and gold, where they're constantly pulling more and more out of the earth, what's here is here. They are not going to be importing any more Japanese Arisakas. The Japanese do not have any more. Swedish Mausers, those are gone. The Swiss K31s are almost gone. They'll be importing a few more. The Finnish M39s and most of the Masa Nagants are pretty much dried up at this point. The K98s have long since dried up for probably the past 5 years or so. I would say that there's not a single firearm here that you will not probably double or triple your money on if you hold it for a decade or two. So you can take all these out and hunt with them. You can put food on the table. You can enjoy them. You have that World War II history, or you can have a piece of silver that sits in the safe that goes up and down. It's your choice. But I highly, highly suggest never to alter them in any way. Don't cold blue them. Don't sand the stock. Don't try to make the stock look better. If the stock looks ugly, it's worth more looking ugly than if you were to sand it or do who knows what to it. I'm under the opinion that we are custodians of these pieces of history, and while we can make money on them and enjoy them, it is our responsibility to take care of them and pass them on to the next generation. So take that for what it is. I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a financial advisor, so anything I say in here is purely my opinion. But back to the rifles before I continue ranting. This is a BYF 1944. Don't know if you can see that or not. This is absolutely beautiful rifle. German rifles have pretty much skyrocketed in value. I'm not going to say that they've hit a plateau, and I'm not going to say they're not going to go higher, but I don't really know how much higher they could get. I mean, you're spending $2,000 for a bolt action rifle. I mean, that's a lot of money for a piece of surplus bolt action. The top 5, as I would rank them. Just some honorable mentions. There are SKS rifles, which are great investments. You've got a whole bunch of variants of Enfields and different Masa Nagants and you know, and so on. There's a bunch of semi-automatics. There's M1 Garands, M1 carbines. There's so many things other than what I could fit on this table. But if I had to pick out 5 things to invest in, it would without a doubt be these 5. So if I had to rank them, grab a K31 as your number 1. Again, this is just my opinion, but based off of what I've seen with them, get a case of GP11, which is what they shoot. You can get it right now for $250. I think from Widener's and Midway USA. They have the GP11 Swiss ammunition for these, and it's $250 for 480 rounds, I believe, plus shipping. When that does dry up, it will go for about $1.10 a round. So right now you're looking at about 60 cents a round delivered. It'll be worth about $1.10 a round once it dries up, and that happened. It dried up about 2 years ago, I'd say, and people were paying $1.10 a round. So another great investment would be ammunition for these. Grab the ammunition, grab one of the guns. Legendary accuracy, fantastic straight pull action, definitely one to get. My number 2 gun, this is a hard one, it's a toss-up. I'm going to go with the Swedish Mauser, just because, again, I take quality over quantity. Go with the Swedish Mauser as your number 2. Fantastic rifles. You can get them for about $400, $450. If you're lucky, you can get one for closer to $300. Again, great quality. They're going to go up in value. You can go out and buy a Remington 700 for $500 and get a $500 gun. You can go out and spend $400 for either of these and get a $4,000 gun, as far as I'm concerned. Next up, again, it's a toss-up. I'm going to give it to the Masa Nagant over the Arisaka. I wanted to, but I'm going to give it to the Masa Nagant. These are just fantastic. They're very popular right now. I think, like with the German rifles, they are going to pick up value a lot quicker once the supply dries up. Any variant will do. M39 just happens to be my favorite. You can go for a 9130, you can go for an M44 carbine, M38 carbine, any number of things. There's so many different variants to get into. They're wonderful guns to start with. You get one, they multiply like rabbits. I promise you cannot own just one of these. You'll get one, and then, you know, 5 weeks later you'll have, you know, a couple more, and then, you know, later in the year you'll be arguing with your wife why you need number 20. It's just it's never ending when you have one of these. The ammunition's still cheap-ish. You know, you could get a tin of 440 rounds for about $60 shipped. Back in 2013, December 2013, I was paying $126 shipped for a full case of 880 rounds. And today it's quite a bit more expensive. It's about $100 to $150 a tin, if you can find it. But still, $150 for 440 rounds, a full-size cartridge like that that's comparable to a 308. That's not bad. Definitely look into getting a Masa Nagant. Next one, number 4 on the list, would be the Arisaka. They have not picked up in popularity yet, but they are starting to. And if you value your history and just a quality firearm more than making money, then the Arisaka would definitely be the one to go with. If you were wanting one that you can hold on to and sell down the road, you know, to put a down payment on a house or something, Swiss K31, Masa Nagant. If you're wanting to go for quality, I mean, I'm talking about top quality, Swiss K31, Swedish Mauser. The Arisaka is just, like I said, for a German K98 all matching, $2,000. Served in Europe. Served in the Pacific, $200 all matching, bring back. And that is low end, but I do put Japanese Arisakas similar to this one without the battle damage for around 200 on my website, and sometimes they sit a while. But you're getting a full complete firearm for $200 and $300, and I think they're a fantastic piece of history that everyone should own. Number 5, and the only reason it is getting number 5 is because the value. This is not something everyone's going to be able to rush out and buy at $2,000. You can get Russian captures for around 500, 400, 500. I would not spend more than 400, 500 on a Russian capture. Again, it's just crazy to spend more than that on them. Check Gunbroker, shop around, use Google. The biggest problem with people and buying items is they buy the story and not the gun. They get hyped up. Some sales terms, these are the nicest ones we've ever seen, or no more are ever going to be imported, and so on. And they just get so caught up in that they'll pay whatever price someone asks for something. And a year down the road when they go to sell it, they realize, wow, I paid a lot more than I should have. So especially on German rifles, do your research. Google only takes a few seconds. If you can't find your answer on Google, there's so many good forums out there. Surplus Rifle Forum's great. Gunboards Forum is great. There's so many forums. There's Russian Masa Nagant Forum. And often these forums don't just specialize in one firearm, one type of firearm. Like Russian Masa Nagant Forum does Masa Nagants, but they also have sections for all of the other firearms listed here. So do your research before you buy something. Make sure you're getting a good price. That is the biggest thing with investment. Buy it cheap, stack it deep. If you stick by that rule, you cannot lose. So there you have it, top 5. Got the Swiss K31. Swedish Mauser gets in as number 2. Number 3 is the Masa Nagant. 4, the Arisaka. And lastly, the German K98. Again, that one did not make it higher up on the list just because they're so expensive right now, and I can't tell you where the value is going to go. It will go up, but how far up, I do not know. Please subscribe. Visit the website, www.themosinCrate.com. Check it out. I've had all of these firearms. I have Arisakas all the time. I have Masa Nagants all the time. Within the past year, I've had probably 10 or so Swedish Mausers. I've probably had 50 or so K31s, and I've had at least 15 bring back German K98. So anything you can think of, we have. If you'd like to debate anything I've said, feel free to just post a comment, and thanks for viewing the video.